Morning, dear listeners. I'm Muhammad Taufiqul Hafidz from UNILA High School, speaking here as the first speaker of the government team. Before we dive into my argument as to why we agree with the motion, I would like to define the motion first, which is this House would arrange students in classrooms based on their intelligence and academical performances rather than on their age. First of all, what we mean by arranging students in classrooms is that we'll sort out students into their respective classrooms, which means that there are already classrooms situated in schools, whether in public or private schools. Second, we refer to intelligence and academic performances as recorded scores of their past studies, along with their extracurricular or club performances, as intelligence counts both academical and non-academical abilities, such as achievements on competitions and grades of tests. Now, dear listeners, the way we will do this is that schools will assess students' past academical and non-academical score records, particularly their averages, and then sort them out using the well-known ranking system, with the standard being set by the average of all students' averages, with the ones who have the highest grade position on top and the ones who have the lowest grade position in the bottom. Using the results, students will then be grouped based on the quota each classroom has. Now, in each classroom, there will be a further subdivision based on the fields in which students perform best. Division A will consist of students who perform well academically, and Division B will consist of students who perform well non-academically. For example, if there's a total of 30 students in one classroom, 15 seats will be reserved to Division A, while the other 15 seats will be reserved for Division B. This is done to prevent segregation and discrimination between students and allow students of differing interests to socialize and to interact with each other by passing the wall of score differences. As for today's parameters, I will limit the scope of today's debate based on high schools of Indonesia, as there will be more records to assess and students will already have a clear view of their interests in studies in both academical and non-academical fields. Now, dear listeners, with the motion being defined, the parameter set, and the mechanism explained, welcome to my argument. I will only bring one argument into this debate, which is by sorting students based on their intelligence and academical performances, we will create a fairer competition between students as they have the same standard of academical and non-academical performances. If we group based on age, even students with the same or similar age will have different level of understanding school materials, creating an unfair environment where students who perform less are judged based on the standards set by the school or classroom according to the best performing student. Not only that, but grouping students based on their age would only hinder the development of students who have more potential to develop faster than their peers of the same age, resulting in these students who have more potential, have the development slowed down because the standard is set based on the majority. Or instead, the other students will be forced to perform outside of their capacity because the standard is set based on the student who develop faster and better than their peers. Now, in order to prevent that, we'll arrange students in classrooms based on their academical and non-academical performances. By doing this, we create a more fair environment where students can compete and cooperate with each other as they have the same, if not similar, level of comprehension on school-related materials. From this, the standard for classrooms, such as the grades and behaviors, can be set using a more focused environment. For example, students who perform better according to their standards will have a higher pace and rate of education, resulting in them being challenged and improve their performances to compete with their peers who have the same level of comprehension and education, instead of competing with the others of different or even lower level of intelligence, halting the development to improve further. In the meanwhile, students who perform less according to their standards can have a more relaxed pace to help them comprehend materials better, as their focus of discussions will not be forced or challenged by students whose development goes at a faster rate and better rate compared to them. So, in conclusion, I agree with the motion to sort students into their classrooms based on their academic performances and intelligence, as by doing this, we will create a more fair environment for students to compete and cooperate with each other, as they will have the same standard or similar standard to compare themselves to, in order to improve and better their education. And that's all I want to say in this speech. Thank you for listening.